I've already looked at a reference Bible from the Lockman Foundation in the New American Standard Bible 2020. That one was the Leathertex edition. You can check out that video if you haven't seen it. In this video, we're looking at the Prime edition. So this is the premium line of Bibles from the Lockman Foundation, the Prime editions. So this is going to be a lot like the Leathertex version on the inside, but with nicer materials for the paper as well as the cover. And the box, even as you can see here, is upgraded. It's a two-piece, very nice box. On the front you have the ISBN number. It tells you that it's printed in Korea, and it tells you it is the NASB 2020. On the side of the box they do have information about what is inside, and some of the notable things here: it has a 9.5 point size type. It is line match typesetting. It has a minimum set of translator notes, so it's not all of the translator notes, but I guess you could say the most important ones are there. It is paragraph formatted and black letter text for the words of Christ. So that's nice. They tell you about what's inside, and then on this side they have the information about the translation itself. So very nice two-piece box with these Prime editions. It does come wrapped in black paper with a sticker seal. And the Prime editions from the Lockman Foundation so far have really been reviewed very highly. People really like them. The covers on these seem really like they're great quality. This is goatskin. This is a black goatskin. I have another Prime edition that Lockman sent to me. This is the compact, large print compact Bible in brown goatskin. So you can get the Prime editions in brown or black goatskin. But the reference Bible that they sent me is black goatskin, and I'd like to thank them so much for sending this copy for review. The side has 5 spine hubs and nice imprinting. One thing people do have different opinions about is the style of print on the side here. You can see it's a sans serif font. It doesn't have the little lines at the end of the letters. So to a lot of people, it kind of seems like a more modern look. I'll compare it to a Holman edition here, and you can see that that's maybe more of a traditional looking font. Still though, it's a very handsome looking cover. It is also perimeter stitched. And there's a nice generous yap here. So it overhangs the text block a little bit, and I think looks really nice. It has 2 ribbons, angle cut, double-sided, and a really great color scheme here. On the page edges you have gold gilt with a red under gold art gilt. And it's a nice rich red. You can see it does have the gold gilt line framing the text. And on the inside here you do have, I think this would be a leather liner. It does seem like it could be. It is edge line construction. And with edge line construction, this liner is tabbed into the text block here. It's glued in. So you're going to often have 2 pages that are partially glued at the front and back. And it's a good public service announcement. Don't tear those apart. Those are meant to be partially glued like that. Then you do have some cardstock here. And then your presentation page, family records pages. And I think this is exactly what you're seeing even in the Leathertex edition. So if you want to spend the money, this retails for $210, but you can get it right now for $189 on the Lockman Foundation website. The Leathertex edition, though, would only cost you probably in the $20-something range, maybe $30-something. You look at the copyright page here. It says it's the NASB 2020 reference edition, published in 2022, and then it looks on the bottom here like this is the first printing printed in Korea. So all the stuff that we saw before in the Leathertex edition. The preface to the NASB Books of the Bible. There's your contents page. Old Testament title page. So I think this format is pretty nice. I mean, you get a lot packed in here. It's very heavily focused on references, so there's a lot of references, cross-references at the bottom of the page. As I mentioned before, it's the minimal set of translator notes, so that wasn't their focus in this Bible. I think they needed to conserve space, so that's why there aren't all the translator notes. It looks to me here like it does have overcast stitching, which is always a bonus. That just reinforces the construction of this to hold it together better. So really well made. Let me show you quickly here the Leathertex edition. So there's a look at both of those together. So really, as far as the text block itself, you're getting something very similar, but you are getting a nicer cover, art gilt on the page edges, and this is probably going to last a lot longer in terms of its construction than the Leathertex. However, on the inside, you're really getting pretty much the same thing. So there's a look at the poetry, and the fact that that's line matched, that always does help with ghosting. It's not as noticeable, the show through from the page on the other side. The New Testament has a title page. And as it said before, it is a black letter text for the words of Christ. So one thing I do like about this format is, even though it is paragraph format, you do see here that the verses are nice and bold, easy to find. So that, I think, is really a good thing. At the end of Revelation, after that you have the topical index of the Old and New Testament. And after the topical index, you have book introductions all together in the back. Read through the Bible in a year plan. Parables of Jesus. Miracles of Jesus. So a couple charts there. And then the maps. On the inside of the back cover here, it does tell you it's a goatskin leather cover, and the ISBN number is there. So there's a lot to like about this Bible. It's a really good size, my favorite size. Big enough to have a decent size font, but small enough to handle very easily. What I want to do, though, is compare this Bible to some other NASB 2020s, just so you can see what's out there. Recently, I reviewed the Holman NASB 2020. And one remark I do want to make in comparing these two is that it seems to me that the Holman has a significantly larger, more readable font. Now, I think there are less cross-references in the Holman edition. There's a lot of cross-references in this Lockman Bible, but both have the reduced set of translator notes, I believe, so there's not a difference there. But one thing I think could be improved on this particular Prime edition, same with the compact edition from Lockman, would be to use a font more like this, designed by 2K Denmark. In the large print ultra thin, they actually did use a 2K Denmark font, and I think, to me, that just seems like a larger, bolder font in relation to the size of the Bible. But this, on the left here, is a 9.5 size font, so it is decent. I just think if they could have gone with a font more like this, it would be even better. Let's look at some pros. So that's one mark where I will say I think this gets more points compared to this one, is that font is really nice. That's the Holman edition. However, this is not as premium as the Prime edition we're looking at. They only give you one ribbon pretty okay quality, nothing amazing, whereas you get nicer ribbons in the Prime Edition. And it has gold, but no art gilt under the gold. So that's how those compare. Let's look at the Premier Collection Zondervan NASB 2020 that also recently came out. And again, I would say the font in this one, this from the Zondervan, is also a 2K Denmark font. It is comfort print, NASB comfort print, and I really like this. I think it's a great use of space. But I would say these two fonts are probably more comparable. If anything, the Lockman might be a little bit larger font. But that comfort print font reads very nicely. And when you get into poetry, that's how they compare. Now the Zondervan Premier Collection is a thin line Bible. So that's the advantage of the Zondervan. They both have goatskin cover with nice generous yap. But what you do not get in the Zondervan are cross references. You do have some translator notes, but with the Lockman Bible we're looking at, the advantage here is all the cross references. But as far as readability, I'd say they're actually pretty similar. Another feature that some people are just going to prefer one thing over the other, the Zondervan is in verse-by-verse format. The Lockman Bible is in paragraph format. But again, those are nice bold verse numbers, very easy to find. So I don't think that's too much of an issue. So I mentioned that this Bible is very similar to the Leathertex edition in terms of the paper quality. I'm not sure that there actually is a difference. I will say it looks to me like the paper in this Prime Edition is a little bit brighter maybe than the Leathertex that I have. And actually, I'm going to compare it to the Prime Edition large print compact, and I would say it's definitely brighter paper than the large print compact that they came out with recently. I find that interesting. Now the font, I think, is the same style of font, and both are readable. I think they both are fine, but again, in my opinion, they'd look even nicer if they had that 2K Denmark font. Let's compare the poetry. So poetry looks quite a bit different here because you have a single column format. What is nice about this Bible, this large print compact, is it's just very, very handy, very easy to carry, almost like a thin line, certainly on the smaller side of Bibles. But it's a very tight look on the page. You can see here there's just not much space between the text and the footnotes. So I prefer more breathing room, and I think you get that in a Bible like this. However, just something to really easily carry places, the compact is very nice option. So I think that's a pretty decent, thorough look at this Bible in comparison with some others. If you have any questions or comments about this, please feel free to leave that in the comments section. Thank you so much for taking a look at this Bible with me from a fresh perspective.